Hello there, wonderful people. Thank you for watching this video and thank you for following me. If you're not following me, why not doing it now? If you're already watching this video. So yeah, thank you for all of you who are here. This video I was thinking for quite some time to film it. It's more of a personal type of video where I just would like to share my experiences and what I've learned from doing a PhD. I don't know if many of you know, by education I'm a pharmacist, and after my master studies I moved to Germany and did my PhD in the field of medicinal chemistry. And this experience was literally life-changing for me. So not only that, just moving from my home country, Serbia, to Germany was a life-changing experience, but just doing a PhD changed me a lot. Or let's say it required that I change a lot in order to get it done. So therefore, because I know that there are maybe some of you who are thinking to do PhD, who are maybe pharmacy students or medical students or whoever it is, and you're maybe contemplating about doing a PhD, or you would just like to hear how it is, what have I learned out of PhD, then stay tuned here. Okay, I will just share with you the three biggest lessons, learnings, experiences that I had. Which I think is crucial to consider, because I don't think nobody prepares you for this. You know, when you start doing PhD, you just think it's enough to learn and I don't know, do your experiments and that's about it. But it's actually not. For me, PhD, and I like to say this especially to students, is more work on myself than work on science. I mean, you will have to work on science, definitely, because you are already deciding to do your PhD. However, what nobody tells you is that it's crucial, and I really don't brag about it, it's crucial to work on yourself. And it really, the whole experience taught me that depending on how much I work on myself, my results will equally grow or not. The thing about doing a PhD in natural sciences is that, as most of scientists will say, it's super unpredictable. So you can work for months or even years on a certain experiment in a certain field, and that nothing works. And then out of nowhere, someday you do some experiment in your lab, and then everything can be solved in a matter of a week or so, or a day. And this is something I had to face, this this level of uncertainty that I've never faced before, never. Because before, when I was studying pharmacy, or even before when I was in school, what was required from me in order to achieve good results is to learn, right? You learn. If you learn enough or a lot or however you want, you will get good grades. Most of the time, of course. There are always cases where you don't learn so much, but yet you still get good results. And I brought this mindset, you know, of just relying on my own intellectual abilities, you know, to just learn, reproduce the knowledge, and I will get a good grade, or I will pass the exam. And then I faced a lot of uncertainty when I started PhD. So it was either, you know, going crazy, being depressed because things are not working out, and for most of the time it won't work out. There are rarely scientists who would say that the experiment worked from the first time. So just facing the fact that most of the time it won't work, but that doesn't mean that it will not work at some point, right? So just knowing that if you're persistent, at some point it will start working, because I always say it has to. Nevertheless, the point of this part of story is that I just realized that I had to start to work on myself in order to achieve some results in science, because I can rely on, you know, just repeating experiments all the time and doing as much as I want. But if I'm having the mindset of loser, the mindset of, I don't know what will happen, I'm a victim or whatever, we tend to do that, like victim of uncertainty, then it would never work out. And that's why a lot of people during PhD get depressed. This is also something people don't talk a lot about. But I think I heard from my friend Ahmed, who is also PhD in medicinal chemistry, who said 1 in 2 PhD students had the symptoms of depression. And it is really because you feel very isolated in a way that you have your own project, and there is a professor who should mentor you, and yeah, there are some colleagues, but each of us have our own project. So it's not like you know, like team sports or so, where everybody's contributing to a certain goal, but it's more isolated. So therefore it requires the best out of you. And by that I mean the best mindset that you can have. So this was definitely the lesson number 1. You have to work on yourself first before you start doing anything. And this can be applied in basically in everything that you do. It doesn't have to be science or PhD. If you work on yourself, the results of your self-growth will immediately reflect results on your work. You know, so and this I can totally confirm now that I'm out of science. I'm not directly working in it, where I see the more I grow as a person, the better results. Also in coaching, the more I grow, the more my personality grows in all directions, the better coach I am. So this is definitely something that, please keep in mind when deciding to do some new projects, where you're starting something new. Work on yourself. Okay. The second part, the second biggest lesson that I had to learn, and it has to do with the first, when I said that that PhD sometimes can be isolating, self-isolating, you feel alone. The second lesson that I learned is that you have to ask for help, that you have to collaborate with people. So collaboration is my second biggest lesson, experience, something that I still keep implementing because it's so important. It helped me so much to solve faster some problems, some challenges that I faced over the PhD, asking for help, but not just mindlessly asking for help, asking that someone solves you a problem, but more asking for their experiences, for knowledge, for tips, and so on. I had to face a lot of facts that I wasn't so technically prepared to do a PhD. I had a good theoretical knowledge, but I lack of technical skills in lab. So to me, there was 2 options. Either I will struggle and make 1,000 mistakes over a long period of time until I learn it, or I can ask for help. And this is a huge thing, you know, because it has to do with ego, just accepting that you are not yet good enough in lab, not yet good enough in speaking some language, not yet good enough in whatever you do. At the beginning, of course, you will not be. But just facing that, accepting it, saying, okay, it's part of the journey. And there is a solution. There are other people who went already through that, and that usually when you ask kindly for help, I haven't faced nobody that told me no. So everybody helped me, really. And this is like something that I'm forever grateful for, all the help that I received from other people, for all their tips and tricks, like on experiments and in general, just life tips and so on. It was so useful for me. And I cherish it so much, and therefore I also love to return that and also help other people when they need some support or help, because I saw how crucial that was for me. So yeah, collaboration, asking for help, asking for advice when you feel that you are stuck, that you don't know how further to go, ask for help, always. Okay, the step number 3, also something a bit motivational, is never giving up. Never giving up, because it has to work. It just has to work. When you're dedicated to something and persistent, and you know that you have built the systems so that you have good mindset, and that you work every day on yourself, work on your experiments, projects, whatever, at some point it will have to work out. It's just how it is. I always, like, I saw that with everybody who finished their PhDs, we all had this, you know, journeys of ups and downs, mostly downs than ups. But still, those ups are so high that, yeah, they are so worthy of all that struggles that we went through. So sometimes it seems like the stuff that you are doing and that can take a long time, that you don't see a progress. And therefore it might scare you, and you think that it will never work out. But trust me, it will. Sometimes you don't see those progress visibly, but just by doing it tomorrow and tomorrow again and tomorrow again, even though it fails, there is something that just this energy that you build in it, at some point it brings you results. And I didn't see this just for me. I see it with so many other people who had, like, I don't know, for over a year or even longer, no positive results. This is also something with science that is also tough, where you don't get the result that you want, even though there is always result, but we tend to label it with positive or negative. So therefore, don't just ditch and exclude these negative results. It's still something you did. And just because it's not positive, it doesn't mean that at some point it won't turn into something positive. And it will, with a good mindset, persistence, and asking for help, collaboration, working on yourself. It has to work. I promise you that. It worked for me, and I always say, if it worked for me, it has to work for everybody. So yeah, this is definitely the third and last component of this video, of my experiences. Yeah, don't give up. Don't give up. Something great is always waiting at the end of this, like, journey, at the end of the tunnel, as they say. It's always some light. Just keep going. You never know, like, when it's going to happen. But if you just keep moving and moving and trying stuff out, asking for help, collaborating, I guarantee you something great has to come out of it. So yeah, guys, I hope you learned something, enjoyed in this video. It was a bit more personal, but I still hope that it can help you. Let me know your thoughts on this. Have you thought about doing PhD, or did you go through some long struggling experience and you still made it happen at the end? I would like to hear from you. What tactics you learned, what were your experiences, knowledge that you gained afterwards. I would really love to hear from you. So do not be ashamed to write down or write me in DM. I would like to talk about it a lot. Thank you so much for being here, and I wish you a wonderful day. Bye.